And this next one, nobody's ever even gonna have heard of. It's called Japanese Girls Never Die. And literally the only reason that I heard of it was because I'm moving to Victoria in Australia, and I was looking into their film festivals and seeing if they ever have anything worthwhile in their film festivals, because we don't have any film festivals around here. And this movie came up, and it actually sounded pretty interesting, and it was really good. I sort of want to preface this by saying that if you look up information about this movie, you're going to get completely different. It's at least not accurate. It's not an accurate synopsis. It makes it sound like this movie's like about fighting the patriarchy and fuck men kind of like feminist thing, and it really isn't. That's a very, very Americanized look at issues that clearly whoever wrote it doesn't understand. It's clearly not. That's something you have to understand when watching it too, is that it's not an American movie, it's a Japanese movie, and it's about Japanese culture, Japanese society. That's very important. I'd also like to say, I don't really think this is necessary, but some people are going to make it necessary. I don't consider myself a feminist. I don't consider myself an anti-feminist either, but, you know, that's not important. What is important is that some people are going to view this movie through the lens of their own identity politics, and that's kind of fucking stupid. The point is, the actual film, you know, it's not anti-men. It's very similar to Get Out, where it uses its characters to represent issues in society, but it's not trying to say that all men are bad, all women are good, or anything like that. So that's mainly what I want to say about getting into the movie, is that don't look at it through that lens. You're probably not going to have as good of a time, because you're not going to notice the rest of the really good parts of this movie. This is a really good movie. I really did like just about everything about this movie. I'd never heard of these actors before. I think the main character has sort of a cult following, but all the acting's really good, and I know that I don't speak Japanese, so I can't comment on their cadence or their delivery, I guess, but it's very clear that their body language and that they deliver their lines, at least that they don't break the flow of the dialogue. Super fucking entertaining to watch. Another part about the description that'll throw you off is that it says that this movie is about this gang of girls who beats up rapists or whatever, and it's not really about that. They're in the movie, but they're probably the least focused on aspect of the movie. They're more to kind of world build, but they're still probably the most interesting part of this movie. I really wish there was more of them. I hope that the director will take that idea and do something more with it. Their costume designs and their fight scenes are wildly entertaining. If this director could do a whole movie of that, I would absolutely fucking watch that. But it's mainly a love story, kind of. It's not romantic. Not really romantic at all. It's kind of divided into two parts. One part you got the romance, and then the other part takes place in the future, where after the girl from the romance side has gone missing, and nobody knows what happens to her, and these graffiti artists see her wanted poster, and they turn it into a graffiti spray, and they start spraying it around everywhere, and it's supposed to be just like a meaningless kind of almost gratuitous reactionary thing, but people start to take it as like a revolutionary movement to find this girl. One of the definite downsides that this movie has because of the way it's structured is that every scene you don't know what part of the timeline it takes place in, and a lot of the scenes are lit in a way where you can't necessarily tell which character you're looking at a moment's glance, so you kind of have to take a minute to be like, oh, is this the beginning, or is this after? Like that's both kind of a plus and a negative. I think they could have found a way to do it that's better, that didn't leave audiences so confused, at least me. I'm pretty sure other people would have this same problem, but maybe it's just me. But the concept's decent enough where it's not detrimental, where you can look past it. The cinematography is pretty standard. There's a handful of shots, at least, that were really well done. Multiple times in the movie where they reflect things in a mirror, and you'll know it when you see them, because they're really fucking good shots. symbolism in like the set design and the props and all of that is very good, very standout. Every single character is interesting to watch, which is rare. They're definitely not all likable in the sense that most of them are bad people that do kind of unjustifiable things. They're meaningful characters in the same way that something like Evangelion, they're characters that leave an impression on you, even if they're not good people. I love morally ambiguous characters in movies, in anything, really. In all honesty, I think that I like this movie more than how good it is. I like this movie more than the quality would represent. Not that this movie's bad in any sense of the word, because it's not. And the word guilty pleasure comes to mind, but that's not right either, because it is a good movie. But I guess I can understand that the reasons that I like it are more personal than things that I can actually point at and understand that they did well. It's definitely more of a subjective thing. Objectively, I think that this is worth a watch, especially if you can separate yourself from any preconceived notions that you have about like gender inequality and gender issues, workplace issues, stuff like that in like an American or British or whatever setting. It definitely is exclusively Japanese, but it's still meaningful. That's my opinion. I think it's a very good movie, and I would give this one a recommendation. So that's it for January. It's not even January, but those are two movies